Guys, we're back after a long while. What's going on?
That's right. We're
That's
back.
going on. Spreading the floor.
Spreading the floor.
I forget. What's our tagline again?
Real opinions from real fans. Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. We're back. We've changed a lot. The NBA sure as shit has changed a lot as well.
That's right.
Zion's back. He dropped 22 the other night. Damian Lillard dropping 61 points on the Golden State Warriors.
Great game.
Ridiculous.
Great game.
Ridiculous. He's out here ending franchises.
Oh, my
Think
God.
about that.
Consistently.
Consistently. He's just literally like taking them out.
A couple times a season he does it.
Yeah. No, he has to hit a quota. He's like the cops, bro, pulling people over. He's like, yo, who's going to catch it tonight? Whose fan base is getting ended?
Damian Lillard is proving himself once again, someone who's going to go down in NBA history.
100%.
And I'm just excited that I'm here for the ride. To be honest with you.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny because I don't think he's considered on the same level as like LeBron, guys like Giannis, because he hasn't been on the most consistent team.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, he's also not quite as consistent as probably he'd like to be.
I'm saying like you can make the argument that if he was on a more consistent team like the Lakers, he'd probably be considered in that top bracket. But you know, maybe he's not quite as consistent. But I mean, he's up there to me with guys like Harden that can drop 61 on occasion like he did the other night.
Oh yeah.
I think he's not only an all-star. I think he's 100% going to be a Hall of Famer.
100%. Yeah.
But you know, that comes with the territory of having a personality as well, which he does in spades. You know, he has those rap tracks.
Yeah.
What is his Dame Dollar? They're not very good, but
he's the most loyal person in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Probably. He said that the city of Portland is his home. You know,
Yeah.
the fans kind of took him in, and he really embraces that, which is really sweet. But you know, the hard part to watch is like, what if we put him on the Bucks next season? How far does that Bucks team go? You know what I'm saying? Like that is an NBA Finals
100%.
team.
Seems like there's a lot of teams like that now, or a lot of stars on teams that could go to other teams, and then that team would be a lock for the NBA Finals.
Yeah. Well, the
You know?
NBA is pretty balanced right now.
It's really
in a
balanced.
really good state. It's
really
in the best
competitive.
state it's been since the early 2000s.
And it's ever changing. I mean, now there's the Bucks at the top of the East, the Bucks, the Heat, the Raptors, and then the Boston Celtics at fourth.
Mhm.
That was a far cry away from where we started the season at.
Yeah.
Celtics on top, Bucks second, I believe. You know, the Heat are coming up big now.
Yeah. And one thing we have to get out of the way, just 10 seconds.
Uh-oh.
A classic spreading the floor segment. We have to talk a little bit of shit about Kyrie.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Where would we be on this podcast if we didn't shit talk Kyrie?
Bro, Kyrie came out and he said they one or two more pieces and their team would be really good. All right, that's okay. That's all right to say.
Yeah, but you've
I
been
don't
playing like shit.
It's like, but Kyrie, you brand yourself as like
This
that,
selfless guy, yeah.
that dude who's gonna go out and change the franchise forever.
And you couldn't do that.
And right now they have a worse record, or
They're doing worse with you.
yeah, I don't know the statistics. I don't know if they're doing worse.
Oh, yeah, they are.
But they're not doing as well as we thought they would. Granted, KD is out, but I mean Kyrie. You can't say you need one or two more pieces after branding yourself as you did, you know.
I mean, Nigel, you don't even need to look at the statistics.
Oh
They're noticeably worse.
yeah.
I mean, last year they were a young team. They made it into the into the playoffs.
Right.
You know, they had a close competitive game with a couple of close competitive games with Philly, and he gets there like he did with the Celtics, and the team immediately takes a dip. For a guy that's branding himself like some sort of a franchise cornerstone, you can't put yourself in that conversation if you tank franchises. If you sink boats like Titanic, or you sink franchises like Titanic.
They're under 500 right now.
Right. They were above 500 last season, I believe.
Were they?
Yeah, that's how they made the playoffs, no?
I mean, right
mean,
now
they're
they're
on-
8th seed.
They're on track to I don't know if they're going to make it, but
But the all right, there's nothing wrong with it being an under 500 ball team. I mean, you know I'm a Knicks fan.
right.
I know about under 500 ball teams. But you're under Orlando. Are you kidding? Orlando is better than the
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving
Yikes.
led Brooklyn Nets. Are you serious?
When I saw Kyrie in there, man, I thought Nets were going to be I thought it was going to be a step up, you know?
Yeah.
That was
that
before-
was what was implied.
That was before I knew about the Kyrie curse.
The Kyrie, it's hard to say because Kyrie really was my favorite player for a long
Yeah.
time because he was just so smooth with it. But he's just turning out after he left the Cavs, it was just like
You know
he's
what
just
it is?
become a cancer.
You know what it is? He became a cancer because he wasn't a cancer in the Cavs because LeBron was there.
He was
That's
humbled.
my theory.
He was humbled
Because when
yeah.
you got a guy like LeBron that arguably has a bigger ego. LeBron was probably like, "Hey, listen,
And
man,
yeah,
listen, pal. Like, I'm calling the shots around here. You're not gonna say." And
absolutely.
you know, when you have two alpha personalities clash, one of them's got to win out. So
And
you
LeBron
know,
will every time because LeBron's a better player. And also,
Right.
you have to remember that when you're on the floor with LeBron James, the entire
offense
everyone's
is run around him.
all the attention. No, the defense of the other team. That too.
Oh, is on intent? Yeah.
Right. So Kyrie had room to play around. Kyrie has no room to play around on this team. He's the only real threat. When KD comes back, he's going to take a little bit off, but KD's going to be coming off injury. This team,
Right.
I'm going to call it right now. I hope I'm wrong, but this team is almost destined to fail. It's not going to reach expectations.
I mean, the rest of the team isn't terrible. You know, they have mostly the same assets as they had last year, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes,
It just
they do.
seems like Kyrie getting there has kind of tanked or like caused them to underperform in some way. It's really hard to describe what that man does to a sports franchise when he gets there, except you just kind of have to chalk it up to the Kyrie curse, the Kyrie cancer.
Yeah.
The what were we talking about in the car? What do we call it? I forget what we called it.
I don't remember.
Something like that. But it's like the Kyrie infection, man. That guy gets to a franchise and it sees decreased numbers. Now, like, I want to propose this: what would it take for that guy to go to a franchise and to have it actually excel? Would it be someone like LeBron leading the team already? Would it be I'm curious. Would it be a stack of other talent on the team?
Kyrie needs to be a sidekick.
Right.
He's
I
not
think that's
capable
what it
of
is.
being the main guy, even though he did when he was on the Cavs. I can't blame him for thinking that he could be the man on the team because everyone thought he could. He was that dude. We were
Right.
you were scared to go against Kyrie. But after leaving, it just seems like he can't handle the full weight of the offense as much. He thinks he's the type of dude you can just give the ball and he's gonna get you 2 or 3 points like Shaq.
Kyrie reminds me of me playing my career on 2K. You know what I mean? Just give me the ball every single time.
Yeah.
Let me shoot it.
I mean, they fall, but they don't fall as much as he'd like, and it's a shame because it's his career could have been how many championships could they have won if he would have stayed on the Cavs and they would have added another piece or something. Instead, he left and tore the entire franchise, went into rebuild mode basically. LeBron started playing chess
It's
as
true.
he does.
It's true.
I mean,
Do you think LeBron still would have left if Kyrie hadn't? That's a good question because if we're
That's a
talking
great
about
question.
altering history here, I don't think. It's a shout that LeBron probably still would have left in my eyes. He probably I feel as though he probably would have still left regardless of Kyrie leaving or not. And also, let's think about it this way, Nigel. If you have a franchise like the Cavs that's being carried by both him and LeBron, how are they going to pick up assets except through trades? I mean, I guess you could.
they
through
could have
trades,
recruited. I mean, like say
But,
you
like,
put
the
Jimmy
draft would be a
Butler on
bust.
that team,
And then
Say Jimmy Butler went
that's
to the
two guards.
Cavs, then you got Kyrie, LeBron, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson.
Well, that's basically a 3-guard system because we know LeBron's a big guard.
I
And
think that team would have
that team
that team would have put up a good competition against
100%
the Warriors.
against any. Yeah, no, I just the only way that team would get any assets would probably be through trading. But I think his legacy would be.
all of their legacy, and
changed.
I don't think LeBron would have left if they would have been able to add another piece. The reason LeBron left is because that team was in a downward spiral.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't see it sooner. I mean, it was pretty obvious.
Well, we didn't know that KD was going to go to the Warriors. Remember that 2016 team? They took care of the Warriors. The Warriors
true.
were not a problem.
It's true.
When they added KD, it just became a little bit of an impossible feat.
I don't know, but there was always jokes around, going around about how LeBron was carrying that team single-handedly. Even when Kyrie was there, it was, you had guys like Supreme Dreams. Remember LeBron in the locker room?
Yeah.
And he was like, Kyrie, where were you? It's always like him, Kevin Love, and Kyrie carrying that franchise. So something had to break eventually, man. I mean, especially in a league where it's ever-changing like it is, and you got the Warriors strengthening, like you said. Something was going to break. I mean, I kind of knew it. I don't want to say I saw it like a clairvoyant, like I could tell, but I had a feeling that wasn't going to be forever, and then he was going to leave eventually.
Because the team was manufactured.
Right, the team
was just hand-picked people.
It was GM LeBron, too,
pretty much.
and it was just not the insider trade of the team was not good, like the inside culture, And then you got other areas too, like New York big, more big, like what's the word I'm looking for? Market.
Yeah.
Big market teams
Huge, yeah.
that LeBron could go to and carry on his legacy. I mean, now with the Lakers,
That's the
come
biggest
on.
market.
That's the
in
biggest
NBA
market you
history.
can go to, and he's got a great team. They're first in the West. I mean,
Yeah.
what more could you want if you're LeBron, man? You know?
Yeah, seriously. And you also can't, when a team is manufactured and put together, you're gonna get locker room problems. You're gonna
Right.
get chemistry problems. And then you look at a team like the Warriors that was 100% built from the draft.
Yeah.
The only time that team started to go downhill was when, there you go, Kevin Durant was just hand selected and put on the team, and then they started having chemistry issues. That's what happens. The most beautiful basketball is a basketball
Comes
that
from
comes
draft picks.
naturally. Yeah. You play the game fairly. You play your cards right, and you will have the best basketball.
And you don't create super teams.
That's right.
Don't.
It's not fun to watch.
The Lakers kind of did though, but they got most.
I disagree. They lost to the Clippers every single time.
Yeah, but now they're first in the West.
Yeah, but they lost to the. I mean, they've been.
The
proven to have
Clippers are also a
weaknesses.
super team. Sure, don't get me wrong, but also the Clippers. I mean, if we're going off of what you were saying, right, which is what I'm getting is, you build up a team fairly by draft picks.
Right.
Clippers and Lakers, if I'm remembering correctly, they got Anthony Davis through trade.
Yep.
Clips got Kawhi, Paul George. There was a little bit of controversy.
Kawhi went through free agency.
Oh, through free agency. Excuse
Yeah.
me then. There was a little bit of discrepancy with Paul George and the way he came in when Kawhi kind of brought him with him. But, I mean, those teams are well, actually, you know what? No. The Clippers, I was going to bring that up later. They're having a little bit of locker room trouble, so maybe there's some truth to some weight to your point there. But I think the Lakers are doing great for a team that's mostly kind of, put together. But obviously there's exceptions to the rule too.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, we haven't really. This Lakers team is very young too.
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't even seen a full season of this current
It's crazy.
general roster. So
The true
you never
Showtime
know, yeah.
Lakers.
Well, they have really been putting on a show, 100%. But getting back to what you're talking about, super teams, it's like, yeah, Paul George and Kawhi, I guess you could call them a super team, but only in today's NBA because it's all spread out. Like, you wouldn't take Kawhi and Paul George over LeBron, D-Wade, and Bosh. You wouldn't take Paul George and Kawhi over Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson,
Yeah,
Draymond
no.
Green,
That's true.
We've
That's
had
true.
super teams. These are super teams. These are like baby super teams. This is what we have like this year.
Well, I feel like in this league too, also, I think you're correct. Like, you couldn't put these teams up against past super teams, but you don't really need a super team now. I mean,
that's better.
If you have one, obviously, if you had a team like the Warriors coming in today, they would still be arguably as dominant, but it wouldn't be an automatic lock. There'd be a lot more teams pushing and giving them run for their money. I feel like all you need now in this league, especially with the distribution of talent, is to have that team that's just a bit above being competitive, to where you have a team like the Lakers where it's so multifaceted that you can just look anywhere and you have scoring opportunities. You look everywhere. Like a team on the Clippers, you have defense all over the place. You got a guy like Kawhi, great wing defender. Same thing with Paul George, guys that can
Pat
score the
Bev.
ball. Pat Bev,
Love
you got guys that can score the ball all over the place. You got a lot of talent. So I think having that type of team where it's just a little bit above the average, that helps too, obviously.
Right.
But I'm glad, I'm glad that that's the only thing that's going on. Golden State, man, they got the Uno reverse card sent by the NBA, so.
And it makes for better basketball.
It does.
Like teams like the Heat is second
Yep.
in the Miami Heat are second in the East.
Yeah.
And they don't what do they have Jimmy Butler,
Yeah. And they
It's-
have Kendrick Nunn and Tyler Herro,
but that gives them the chance. And
hit the game winner.
Name any other year where this Miami Heat team would be second in the East, bro. Like,
Definitely not.
this is good competition. This is great basketball. I mean, Toronto Raptors lost
third.
Kawhi and they're third in the East.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
It's the American dream out there in the East, man. Anyone can
Seriously.
make it.
Anyone can.
Anyone can
That's a good one.
go for the chip,
Yeah. I mean, even in the West too, you got Utah number 2.
That's what, okay. I
Denver,
wanted to
number
talk about that
4.
as well. Yeah. Teams like Denver, Utah, coming up. Like, what do you think about that, man? Because it seemed like in the West, I know we were predicting way back when, at the beginning of our podcast, I think it was before the season, and even a little bit into the season, we kind of viewed the West as, I believe you called it the Wild Wild West,
Yeah.
aptly named. But now it seems like teams that I personally didn't believe had a chance are coming up big now. You know.
OKC has been turning some heads.
Okay, so I just had so much that I wanted to come into
Yeah.
and talk about, but yeah, teams like the Utah Jazz, Denver Nuggets, Mavericks. I always think we thought that they were going to be pretty good. Luka's been going crazy.
We had good prediction on the Dallas Mavericks.
Spurs? I didn't know. I wasn't sure
Yeah, I
about the
wasn't
Spurs,
sure.
but they're looking like an eighth seed. Well, they are an eighth seed right now. Memphis Grizzlies have been going on, I believe, they've been on a 2 losing streak, but they were on a 7 win streak a couple games ago. So teams are over exceeding expectations. It's just an overall better NBA to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely, and that gives San Antonio doesn't really have anyone that's really going crazy. DeMar
Yeah.
DeRozan is underperforming, but like you have a great coach like Pop,
Popovich.
you
And
know.
an NBA like this, that might be all you need.
and
you know?
they're proving that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 8th seed right now, probably the worst they've done for a long time, but I think they have like one of the longest playoff streaks in
Yeah.
NBA history. I mean, good for Pop.
Yeah, he's
I
getting,
mean-
he's there's a reason he's assistant coach for the USA team, man.
Yeah,
That man is a
100%.
special talent.
yeah.
You know, he was in the
seriously.
Air Force beforehand.
I didn't know that.
He wasn't. He studied in school advanced military tactics. He joined the Air Force. I think he might have coached like one college team after that, maybe the Air Force college team or something, some shit like that after he graduated, and now he's coaching in the NBA. Like Pop has one of the weirdest stories getting to the NBA, but he's just been so bang on successful, you know.
And that's such a Pop move to study like advanced
100%.
military tactics.
He's like, I can apply this to basketball.
Yeah.
Just like
he does though.
We got to destroy the enemy, you know.
That Spurs team goes to war. They
Oh, they
really
do.
I saw them live this year
Oh,
against
when?
the Orlando in Amway Center in Orlando.
Did I see you posted something on Snap about that? Right? I was like, damn, he's
Yes.
at the yeah.
Because that was the first NBA game I went to since Knicks my junior year of high school.
We gotta go to one.
Yeah,
We should.
I'm sorry. I can't go and watch my Knicks lose though. Bro. They got to be a little
No, I
bit
mean,
better.
we could watch the Knicks get blown out by another team, or we could watch
If
the
it was
Nets.
Knicks versus Lakers, I'd go watch that.
Yeah, did you know though, bro? Someone posted on Instagram that tickets to that, the cheapest were $426. So I mean, we're on a college budget here.
Yeah.
We definitely can't afford that.
Yeah.
But you know,
I'll go Knicks versus Clippers. I'll go Knicks versus.
it'd have to be like superstar talent on the other side.
I'd want something because like either way the Knicks are they're losing by 10 at least.
Yeah.
People are leaving with 2 minutes left on the clock. Am I really gonna pay this much money to do that?
That's fair weather fans though, man. Like I'm a Mets fan, so I know.
Yeah.
Like if we're at City Field, excuse me, like even if I'm a Knicks fan, right? I'm not gonna walk out until that final whistle.
No, I'm not either.
know?
But am I gonna pay
Right,
this much
yeah,
money
I
to put
wouldn't pay
myself
400
through that?
I wouldn't
you know?
pay $400 to see my team get slapped.
I would pay $400 to see LeBron. Not right now because I don't have $400. But in the future, if I had it, I would pay $400.
Well, that's what I was
see
gonna
LeBron.
say. Only if there was like generational talent on the other team.
Yeah.
I might pay to see Ja Morant.
Oh yeah.
I'd 100% pay to see the Clippers, the Lakers. I'd want to pay to see Luka play because that man is a walking highlight tape too.
I'd want to see Luka play too.
Talk about Ja Morant, man.
Ja Morant.
Ja Morant.
I was wrong. I'll give you that. I was wrong about him.
What was your prediction?
When
I
we
forget.
first started the podcast, I said I didn't think he'd be much. I didn't think that he'd beat out Zion. I didn't think that he'd be much better than RJ Barrett.
I think I might have been correct on that one.
You were. You called it. And I'll admit when I'm wrong.
I don't know. I mean, yeah,
I called
that's
it
what
wrong.
it's about. That's what it's about. But yeah, that man has been incredible. You see when he posterized Aaron Baines with the left, bro. He took it up with the right, switched over to the left. Who does that?
Bro, he plays like a veteran.
He does.
He plays like a freaking veteran, man.
And you know what? Something that I found was interesting. In college, his like college to majors point drop off, point differential is like a point
Yeah.
per category. So in college, he was averaging 18.7 points, rebounds 6.1, assists 8.2. He gets to the league where rookies are expected, I believe, to have some sort of a drop off
Low
in
numbers,
stats.
yeah.
Because it's a bigger guys, more physical league. Obviously, it's the majors, so that the skill level is a lot different. He's been averaging 17.5 points, 3.4 rebounds, 7 assists a game. Field goal percentage has been bang on, spot on the same. Same with free throw percentage and field goal from 3. This guy has been excellent.
I love watching him. I love watching him.
Yeah.
He's so smooth. So smooth. I think one day if in the near future, he might be my favorite player to watch.
Really?
He's so I
Interesting.
love watching him play basketball.
It's a dream watching him, and I like him because, you don't have. I feel like in the league now, and correct me if I'm wrong, save a few, but you have guys that can put up highlights, and have bang average nights, or you have guys that can put up a lot of points, and not really have highlights. And I think he can blend that nicely.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely.
Because I mean, obviously, outside of guys like James Harden, Westbrook, LeBron, they can put up historic numbers and still have a lot of highlights.
Yeah,
But I think John Morant, the style of basketball that he plays, the brand of basketball that he plays, is so interesting to watch because he puts up, right now they're a little bit above average. Some nights he puts up bigger numbers, but he's always fun to watch.
yeah,
So
definitely.
he blends that nicely, and that's what I like about watching him.
He's having quite honestly a perfect rookie season.
Yeah,
Pretty, like he's gonna win Rookie of the Year, pretty guaranteed.
I think so. Unless Zion does some crazy shit.
I don't think Zion's played enough games.
Well,
I don't-
he played what last?
He played 2 nights ago. That was his
2 nights
first
ago.
NBA.
Right.
I think you need to play a certain amount of NBA games.
He's averaging
in order
more
to
per game.
qualify.
Oh, I definitely, yeah. You can't just play half a season. I
Exactly. I
think
don't think Zion can win.
Well, I mean, also I was thinking about this earlier. There's something to be said for the way your brand plays into it. So Zion got a Jordan sponsorship before he even stepped foot on an NBA court. Does his public image, and obviously he'd have to score some crazy numbers. He walked in there and he scored 22 points the other night, shooting 4 from 3, which I want to get into as well. But if he really has really good performances on the Pelicans, do you think that he could possibly make a push for Rookie of the Year just based off of the fact that he's Zion Williamson and people were touting him as the next LeBron? Like, do you think the public image of him could boost his chances? Because
I think the general public, because Zion's on his way to have a household name,
Right.
like LeBron. John Morant, not so much.
Not
John
so
Morant
much.
came from a smaller
Yeah.
school and everything.
yeah,
But true NBA fans know what to look for. People who are watching
it's true.
these the award shows and everything. The real NBA. So I don't think it's really up to just because he has a bigger name. I mean, look at you could go back in history and point out similar things. Not every superstar won Rookie of the Year. I don't think Kobe won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm
A
saying?
lot of people think he got snuffed as well.
But yeah, but he
Yeah,
was
he didn't win it, though.
he was probably the most high profile
Yeah.
person in that not in that draft. Well, maybe in that draft. I don't know. But no, I think John Morant earned it, and I think every person who watches NBA consistently knows that.
Yeah.
And Zion came in, he had a great game, shot 4 for 4 from 3. But
Which I also want to get into.
yeah, I mean, 3-pointers aren't even his game. He wasn't even really playing his game.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, we can get to that later, but back to what you were saying. Yeah, no. I mean, obviously, John Morant doesn't have that big of a following. But, he's, like you said, to true followers of the sport,
Right.
he's been putting up good numbers. To me, he wins it just based off of stats and what he's been doing. I mean, he's had highlight plays, but, I think Zion's going to be bringing the heat. I mean, he revamped his entire game,
You could, if you call it revamping. I mean, we just don't know, man. We've seen him play once.
I know they were working on the way he walks and runs too.
Yeah, and I love your optimism, and I hope I get to see Zion go off, but realistically, to me, he came in and scored 22 shooting threes. His game isn't really 3-pointers. He wasn't playing his strengths. So
Right.
what happens when those 3-pointers aren't falling? Is he going to be able to get into the paint? I want
Does
to
he
know
revert
that.
to old Zion?
But
Okay.
I want to know if his game is going to translate well into the NBA, especially coming off an injury. I mean, how long was it since the last time he played basketball? I mean, I just don't think this is going to be Zion's year. I don't think we
Preseason.
should expect this to be Zion's
No,
year.
I'm not saying by any stretch that it's his year, but I'd say my case in point that I'm making, moreover, is that are we going to see a different Zion, or do we see him as more of a offensive threat now for a team like the Pelicans that has good ball movement, decent shooting from outside the arc? What's his name? Just got the new jump shot.
Lonzo.
Yeah, Lonzo just got his new jump shot, looking good. Does that does that give them a higher point differential in the league? Does that give them more success? that was something I was toying over last night as I was thinking about it. Like, imagine if Zion adds threes to his already, he's got semi good defense, a big presence in the paint.
Yeah.
He's actually got great court vision, which I don't think a lot of people talk about enough, obviously, because he's making crazy plays in the paint. But if you add threes to that, think about that.
Yeah.
That is almost, and I don't want to hype him up too much, but that's like LeBron almost.
Yeah, 100%. And even LeBron didn't have a great three-pointer when he first got into the league.
So perhaps those early predictions of a new LeBron could be coming true. Who knows?
It's very possible.
Who knows?
And
I don't want to overhype him, though, like you said.
There's a lot of really great young talent on that team as well. That team is going to be first seed in a couple of years. Definitely.
Think so?
100%. The first or second seed. I mean, they're destined. I mean, like, how could you? The Pelicans would have to really mess something up for Lonzo Ball, someone who has great promise to be one of the best point guards ever.
You think so?
Are you kidding me? His
Lonzo?
court vision, yeah, bro.
Court vision's amazing. He's just got a new three.
He passes. He's not just because you're not the greatest scorer. I mean, and he came in with so much pressure. But if you look at the way he moves the basketball, his mechanics, if he has room to grow, he's gonna grow. He's gonna be great.
Well, yeah, I always pegged him as one of those guys, and I'm not saying that he's necessarily not going to be an all-star talent or a Hall of Fame lock down the road, but I'm talking in terms of like right now or where he's come from. I like what you said there, where he doesn't automatically have to score. Someone automatically doesn't have to score to be a good point guard. I mean, you think point guard, what comes to your mind? Great court vision, facilitating the offense. He does those things. His scoring might not be the best. It was in college, but if he can revert to college form, I do agree. I think, but right now, I just don't see him being that far up there. Obviously, I mean Zion. He's shown us that he can grow. He's got a new jump shot. So I think, in time, there's no reason he can't be.
Yeah, and he's very good at controlling the pace of the game, and I think that's probably the most important thing that goes into a point guard.
Funnily enough, what's his name? His younger brother that plays in the NBL right now.
Yeah, LaMelo.
Same trait. LaMelo is very smooth the way he plays the game. He controls the pace. So I'm excited to see if LaMelo comes in. I know there was a lot of There's a lot of people saying he was going to be a number one pick over R.J. Hampton. Am I remembering that name correctly?
I don't even.
I think it's going between him and R.J. Hampton. So it's going to be interesting to see the way those two guys play. But they have very similar play styles. Also, Lonzo has said that LaMelo at this point is better than him.
Yeah, I see where he's coming from with that claim. I also think it's important to understand that LaMelo's playing against babies compared
Australians. Yes, that's another big thing to bring up. It's not the NBA yet.
Not babies, so to say, but they're not. It's not the same competition he'd be getting if he was a NCAA Division I athlete.
Of course, saying?
And he's gonna go to the NBA, and we have to see how those skills are gonna translate. But his game is so smooth.
I love watching him in the NBA.
I love watching him play, and he's gonna be a really good player.
No.
In the future, definitely.
100%.
We just have to see how his rookie season. The thing that messed up Lonzo was the Lakers.
And his dad.
The Lakers, LeBron, they all came. There was just so much on his back. I mean, if he would have just went to the Pelicans straight off the bat.
And his dad would have shut his mouth earlier.
There was just so much constant blah 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 blah. I mean, how does a kid grow like that? He's not, and I think that's why it's taken longer for him to really settle in.
Him going under the radar, I'm gonna say it now, was the best thing that ever happened to him.
100%. Because he's not quite as loud as LaMelo or anything. He's not.
He doesn't want to be.
Yeah, he's kind of he's humbled, more humbled than the rest of that family.
100%. He's always been humble. I mean, I always liked Lonzo watching him growing up.
Yeah.
He was never like a bad dude. He would be inclined to agree with his dad, but you could kind of see in interviews, he'd be like, I mean, yeah.
He wasn't.
He doesn't want. I was like, I don't want to be here.
He doesn't have that type of personality that they tried to. He doesn't have a TV personality, whereas the rest of them does. So LaMelo's gonna go to the NBA, and he's gonna have that big personality that the opposite of Lonzo, and it's gonna kind of hit him like a brick.
He has that natural voice where it just always sounds like he's shouting. You know what I mean? Saying, I'm here in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? He has that really high-pitched voice, but shut up.
They're all so cocky, except, I mean, Lonzo, but, I mean, say what you want about their basketball skills. Lonzo is just kind of like the coolest one.
Yeah,
in my opinion, definitely.
Level-headed in terms of like
level-headed, smart.
yeah,
you know.
temperament. Like I think definitely he's the most like mature.
Definitely, 100%.
You know?
And what he did to that with that UCLA team, I mean, I loved watching him play in college. And don't get me wrong, LaMelo's fun to play too, but there's just something about Lonzo's game. It's just cooler, you know? It's not all flashy. Like, he plays
flashy.
basketball.
It's like not flashy, but like when you see it, you're like, oh,
It's
all right.
It's like Chris Paul was a great NBA player but he was just really good at being a point guard, and I think that's what Lonzo Ball is banking off of. Whereas LaMelo just kind of
he's a true point guard.
Yeah, Lonzo really is a true point guard.
LaMelo's more of like a
big personality.
He's a big personality.
Wants to be a superstar.
He wants to be a superstar. He can definitely score the ball. He's had some dimes. I'll give him that. His court vision is also up there. But I think like he'd be one of those guys that's more inclined to score, whereas Lonzo, like you said, he facilitates the offense. He's got that cool, mellow, just let it hang kind of mentality about things.
If you have a decent team, you want Lonzo on your roster.
Yeah.
But if you have a bad team, you want LaMelo on hoping that he's just going to take off and go and average a triple-double.
Well, I
pretty
mean,
much.
Pending the fact that we haven't seen LaMelo play that much yet, I would flip, depending on how LaMelo does, right?
Right.
Because if you have a bang average team, if LaMelo does great, I would take LaMelo. Lonzo can elevate a bad team, I feel, with his facilitating of the offense. So I would perhaps switch those two.
Yeah, I could see why.
They're interchangeable. I mean, your outlook could also be applied, but Lonzo. I mean, looking at them on the Pelicans, I mean, the Pelicans are not doing too well. I think they're bottom 3 of the conference.
Yeah, well, they're missing a
or
position.
bottom 4, excuse me.
They're missing a position.
That's true too. But I mean, he's been part of the reason why Zion's been away. I feel like the kind of go-to guy on that team. You could say it's fair to say, So, I think he has the power to kind of elevate the team a little bit. Which you want to see in a point guard.
Yeah, you can't forget about Brandon Ingram. Went off that one night.
I completely forgot about Brandon Ingram. I was trying to think in my head when I said that. I was like, is there anyone else? Brandon Ingram definitely is holding up that offense as well.
He's been really stepping up. I think those kids getting off the Lakers, as much as they didn't want to, that's the best thing that ever happened.
The Lakers misfits.
And I think they realize that now, because they are having a good time out there.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram's making a difference.
If nothing else, they're having a good time.
And Zion's gonna come back, and that team is gonna be just a solid, really good team.
I don't think they make the playoffs this year, though.
No, absolutely not. Maybe not even next year. But
you just got to tank for a little bit.
Though. That's fine. Yeah, get a couple draft picks. Add some bench,
killers.
Some killers to the bench. Nothing wrong with that. And grow. Just grow together.
Do what the what's that team that I was talking with Jerry about the other day? Do kind of like what the Atlanta Braves. Or no, excuse me, the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Like they just tanked for a bunch of years, and then they got a bunch of really, really good talent. Granted, they cheated stealing signs, but like,
they did.
Don't do that, Pelicans, but do everything else about that.
Don't steal signs.
Don't steal. I don't even know how you do that in the NBA. He's going for a layup, bro.
You could steal the playbook.
Yeah, you could steal a playbook. That's true. You could just I've seen like clips of players from other teams going over to huddles.
Yeah.
And just like going like this, and nobody notices.
Yeah, because it's
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yo, how zoomed in are you that you don't see the other like?
That happens, bro.
Yeah. So, no, I think that's just that's what some of the bottom feeders of the teams leagues got to do is like the Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks got to take out some pieces. I think you keep Mitchell Robinson and you keep R.J. Barrett. You build around them. That's my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm not a Knicks fan, but. I know you have your strong opinions about that. I think you share my sentiments.
Yeah.
The Charlotte Hornets also need to do that, I feel. Well, obviously, they need to get rid of management as well.
Yeah.
Because we can be real here. Michael Jordan is driving that franchise into the ground. Yeah. And then, teams, obviously, Golden State, Sacramento, surprisingly at the bottom. Minnesota, surprisingly also at the bottom. They started off well. Another really surprising team, the Atlanta Hawks.
I thought they'd be
at the
better.
Bottom. Yeah.
Trae Young's averaging 27 a game.
Yeah, I know. Someone get that man some ice.
Yeah,
he's carrying that team
for his back,
yeah.
man. I mean, his shoulders must be so sore.
What happened to John? I mean, like, didn't they have John Collins?
Bro,
he was like bang average, but I mean, like, he was doing all right.
Trae Young is an all-star this year in his second year of the NBA, and he
All-star
has
starter too.
yeah, and he has really put that team on. That he's really shown out, and he's surpassed every expectation that was ever held from him. He's proved all the
Yeah.
haters wrong. He just can't do it alone.
Yeah.
He's
That's
he's
it's a
gonna
LeBron
he's wasting away on that team.
So what do you want? Where would you want to see him go?
Knicks.
No, I was about to say. I looked as I was saying that. I looked onto the monitor. I see the Knicks. I was like, the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks.
But like
Any other team that needs him.
not just because I'm a Knicks fan. Like obviously I'm a Knicks fan. I want Trey.
Oh, shit.
My bad. Weapons malfunctions.
Yeah.
Obviously
was
I'm a Knicks fan. Obviously I'm a Knicks fan because I keep doing stuff with
Oh, I
my
know.
hand. I'm always like touching my water bottle.
I had my gain all the way up, so all I heard was your just voice and it just. I was okay. Go ahead.
That
my
was
fault.
scary. You're
That
good.
was a little scary.
Obviously, I'm a Knicks fan. I just want the best players in the
Right.
Knicks, obviously. But, I mean, you take a guy like that around R.J. Barrett, around Mitchell
Right.
Robinson, guys that he can grow around, guys his age, bro, nothing but success for the Knicks. And put Trae Young in. He also has a little bit of a personality, too. He kind of
Yeah.
wants a bigger market.
He could bring more market to that bigger market team too.
The best thing for his career right now would be for him to go to the Knicks. That might not be true next year, depending on whatever happens, you
With
know.
drafts, yeah.
But the best thing that could happen to him right now is going to the Knicks.
I mean, other teams could use him as well too, but like the Knicks, since I'm a New York guy, like I would want to see him go to the team that's closest to me. Obviously, he could go to the Cleveland Cavaliers as well. You know,
Yeah, they have some young pieces.
he could definitely go to the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know why he'd want to go there though. They would need someone like him. Golden State doesn't really need him. Golden State's gonna get more draft picks anyway, and they have Steph Curry and Clay coming back.
Yeah,
they don't need.
they don't need him.
Minnesota, who do they have at point? I struggle to remember the guy's name, but I don't think he's that. I think he's just kind of average.
What team?
Minnesota.
Oh,
at point.
yeah, I don't remember.
But I
Minnesota's
know
a
he's
failure.
Yeah, I mean, it's just all these like bottom. You know, at least if he's gonna go to a team that really needs star talent, I'd say go to a big market team. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the
And-
Knicks,
And I hate talking bad about teams, but Minnesota, I mean, come on, man.
dude. I mean, this is a podcast. We can.
Such high expectations for them. They had Karl Anthony Towns.
They started
Andrew
off
Wiggins.
they started off the year good too.
But I don't blame Jimmy Butler for leaving because he wants dogs, man.
Bro.
Jimmy Butler wants people who want to win, and
Bro,
Minnesota they just want to get
Minnesota's
paid,
like
bro.
super weenie hut juniors, bro. They're not
Pretty
getting it done.
much. They don't really have that drive, you know. They don't really want it that bad.
They don't.
And it shows in their game because the players are good. They have the ability. They have the talent. You could just see it in the way they play. It's like they just don't want it that bad.
I'm trying to think of like an NFL equivalent, but I can't right now. Or like what they would be their equivalent in like other sports organizations. But yeah, they're just kind of stagnant.
Yeah.
I would say they're like the Redskins, but young.
Yeah.
Like Redskins just don't do anything with their talent, you know. But like the Redskins are also more old. But anyway, we could talk about rankings, I guess. You know, Houston's kind of in the mix. I thought they'd be doing a little bit better. They're at 6th.
I did too. I mean, like how many points does James Harden have to score? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Russell Westbrook too.
He's been doing very well, but it's just not translating.
I feel like my doubts going in was that they wouldn't mix, but it seems like they're the only two good parts of that team besides maybe like Clint Capella running the pick and roll.
Clint Capella's consistent.
Yeah.
He's always been Clint Capella,
But like the rest, it's just like what happened. Like the part that I thought was gonna be their downfall, admittedly, and again, if we're admitting things that we're wrong about, I didn't think that the Houston Rockets would work. I guess I was kind of right, but the part that I thought wouldn't work out is actually worked
Yeah,
out.
I think you were right, but used the wrong equation,
Yeah.
but got the right
Yeah, yeah,
answer.
yeah, no.
But I always felt like they would mix well. The problem is their defense. It's
Yeah.
just other team like Harden can
Garbage,
score
dude.
62 all he wants. The other team's gonna score 100 and whatever. You can't, they
Especially
don't add
in
up.
the West where everyone seems to have offense in spades.
Yeah, 100%. And if you just add if they got Jimmy Butler on that team, get some much needed defense, someone who can play two ways, it'd be a different story. But Russell Westbrook plays defense kind of when he wants to.
Yeah, same with Harden.
Yeah, Harden too.
I've seen him play some defense sometimes.
Westbrook really only plays defense when he's like going up against like an adversary. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, he doesn't really
Doesn't give
care
a
much
fuck,
about
yeah.
that. You know.
No. Yeah, no. So I mean, they're at 6th right now. Not quite where I thought they'd be. I thought they'd maybe be slid up a few spots, maybe above the Dallas Mavericks. But I mean, with the way the Mavericks have been playing, they definitely deserve that 5 spot. Denver's been going crazy, 30-14. I'm really happy for that because this year coming in, I didn't know if they'd be in the same position as they were last year, and it seems like they've kind of upped their game a little bit.
Yeah.
Seemingly, I mean the Utah Jazz. We also had questions about Mike Conley facilitating the offense. Mike Conley seems to have been a good investment for the team.
Yeah,
They're
definitely.
second right now.
Very solid player.
I mean, you're second to the Los Angeles Lakers, but the Los Angeles Lakers are 36-9. So I mean, there's no really catching up to them, I don't think.
Yeah.
Unless you have a really, really stellar second half of the season coming out of the All-Star break. Clippers 31-14. We could talk about Oklahoma City and what they're kind of doing right now because obviously, as you guys know, I'm a fan. So I've been seeing a lot of chatter about, first they're going to trade Steven Adams to Boston for Boston center. I forget his name. Excuse me. Daniel Tice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 So he was going to be traded for Daniel Tice, and then now they wanted to trade Chris Paul.
Daniel
Paul
Tice
said
isn't anything special.
right.
Anyway.
I mean, Steven Adams is a better overall deal. I think what they started off the season wanting to do was just shed old talent that they could get a good amount of money for, draft picks, and just work on rebuilding again. Because you got management that as soon as we're not doing anything, just go into rebuild mode.
Yeah.
We've got tons of first round protected picks. So, but now they're like 7th in the league. So I'm wondering if they're going to try to be competitive because they have some young talented pieces. Again, it's the West though. So to me, the Oklahoma City are kind of like in a weird gray area, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
They're not really low enough to get really great pieces from the draft.
They're like in a fork in the road almost.
Yeah, but they don't have any kind of.
They don't have the star power to get.
And they
them.
don't have much of a future right now either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, they have a good. They don't have a future for until the distant future.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be a long rebuilding period.
Right.
I don't know. I was just wondering about your thoughts. You think they're going to contend? Or?
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with OKC. I mean, they have pretty much, if they make the playoffs, pretty guaranteed first round exit. But even that is a higher expectation that we went into, especially me. I was wrong about OKC. They're playing good basketball, kind of getting down and dirty, kind of like the Heat are.
Yeah.
They just don't have as many pieces as the Heat do.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, OKC, what they do? They blew out the Warriors recently.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, man. I'm impressed with OKC. I also kind of wanted to talk about the East, Philadelphia really hasn't been doing as well as we.
Off.
Yeah, they've the process kind of came and went.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Embiid injured again, or was there something with that?
I think
there were some concerns.
I think he was injured for a little bit, but because they had.
Damn, they're behind the Pacers, a team that famously can't get it done even with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
The 29-17, they're right above the Orlando Magic. Brooklyn Nets are still in contention at the 8th seed. Yeah, the East is a weird place. I'd say the East is arguably more weird than the West at the moment.
Oh, easily.
In terms of teams flip-flopping.
Well, who do you think is going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals? Milwaukee and who? Either Miami or Boston, in my opinion.
Yeah, I see Boston getting up there. Maybe Philadelphia comes back because I know they were talking about putting Embiid on load management at the beginning of the season. So it's if he makes a comeback, I don't see why they couldn't get back into the mix. Indiana seems to be doing great. Really, I mean, it's all about momentum, I feel like, coming out of the second half. So Milwaukee's been on a 7-win streak. Excuse me. Toronto's been on a 5-win streak. Boston on a 2-win streak. Miami on a 2-win streak. So, it's. I'd say when you got I feel like for this we should look at deep end of season to playoff run experience, right? So you look at the Milwaukee Bucks, had a lot of experience with the playoffs. You could say deep to mid playoff runs. Toronto obviously won the chip last year.
Mm-hmm.
Boston also has some playoff experience. Philadelphia, Orlando always gets in there somehow. It's hard to tell, man. Miami hasn't had much. I'd say either the Bucks. I could see Toronto or Boston getting in there. The Heat, if they continue the way they're playing, I don't see why they couldn't.
100%. The only problem with the Heat is they don't really have someone that's gonna
That's what I'm saying. That's what bothers me.
them. Yeah, they're kind of like a couple seasons ago, the Jazz, when they had the first seed, but they couldn't really do much with it.
They just need more pieces, I feel like. And then for Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn to grow even more, they'll be all right.
In my opinion, I think Eastern Conference Finals goes down to Boston and Bucks.
Yeah,
and I think Bucks would take that because Boston, I mean, they're a good playoff team. I mean, during the regular season, say what you want, but during the playoffs, they love, Kyrie was there last year, so you know how that went. But
they've been better this year. I mean,
they've been better this year, and I mean those kids, they love going into the playoffs. They love getting deep into that, and they love being dogs.
They love being dogs,
which you need to do.
I mean, they've got a talented team, and I'm looking at the stats now. They're not that far behind Toronto. It's Toronto's 30-14. They're 29-14. Miami is 31-13. So, they could easily scooch up to the second spot.
Yeah,
like that.
100%.
So, I think it goes down to Milwaukee, Boston, or Toronto, going off of past experience. Also, gotta shout out my boy Spicy P, East All-Star starter.
There you go.
I'm happy for him. He seems like he's really stepped up. I know at the beginning of the season I said I wanted him to be the man in that Toronto offense. It seems like he's been doing just that. So
yeah, my boy Siakam.
All-Star votes have kind of shown that to be true.
Yeah. The thing is though, it's like. It was almost like Chester. He's gotten a lot better. He's a great player, but like he's not. I think there's definitely room for improvement with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he hasn't really replaced Kawhi in any way, shape, or form.
No, I don't think anyone could replace a guy like Kawhi.
Yeah, but he has stepped up into his role, and he's been showing us that you can't really mess with him like that. He's better than we all thought he was, definitely, and he's earned that spot 100%.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for this Toronto Raptors team. I mean, usually you see a finals drought. I mean, obviously there was the Warriors and Cavs for a while going back and forth, but if you look outside of that, teams in at least the U.S. sport scene in different leagues, you see like a playoff drought or like a Stanley Cup or like a NBA Finals or any big Super Bowl thing. You see a team hit a drought after they win the big chip.
Yeah.
Toronto has bounced back pretty nicely considering they lost their cornerstone franchise guy.
Player, yeah. Definitely.
So I'm happy to see them play.
Playing good basketball.
All right, that's 47. If you want, we can go the full hour. We have all stars to talk about. I think we can just cut it now. Yeah.
I think we talked about what we needed to. Yeah. We'll refuel for next time.
That was a good time. That was a good rebound podcast for us as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Talk about rebounds. How long has it been since the last one?
We took off I think 2 weeks before break to get ready for finals.
Yeah.
And then we went to break for a month.
We didn't even talk about Melo. Melo's back.
Melo's back, boy.
Melo's back.
Melo's back.
How can we forget? And he's been banging, bro.
Is he on the All-Star? Is he All-Star this year?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, good. No,
good. That's all we have to say.
No,
yeah.
That's all. Melo,
as a Knicks fan, I've been having a good time watching him play basketball.
I'll never forget when I went to a Mets game, and the guy that came out to sing the national anthem, right after it, rips off his shirt, bro, in like coloring on his he had like man titties too, so this shit was hilarious. Like he had like a stomach and everything, and it just said "Give my man Melo a contract."
Really?
Yeah, and everyone just got guy got a standing O, bro.
That's sick.
It was so funny.
But he proved it. He was. I mean, we all doubted Carmelo. Even I was like, he's gonna come in. He's not gonna do much.
Yeah,
but
I didn't think he was either.
He was right, man. He's not he definitely belongs on a roster. He's been showing out. Yeah. He was the piece that the Portland Trail Blazers needed, and he's been proving that. Yeah. And good for him. And I'm very happy to see him play again. He's been playing very well. Still taking the classic Melo contested fadeaways.
Melo loves those.
Yeah.
But we love seeing Melo take those, though.
But once in a while he makes them.
Bro, I love every time he does something crazy. The crowd goes just nuts, bro.
Because what else are you gonna do, bro? It's Melo.
It's Melo. You gotta love Melo, bro.
You gotta love Melo.
The GOAT, the OG. I'm trying to figure out where Okay, so Portland's right out of the 8th seed. They're not that far behind either, so maybe
they need help at the point guard spot.
I want to see playoff Melo again. Hopefully we get to see that. Hopefully we get that treat in the next couple years. Anyway.
Definitely.
So we came back. Zion came back. Melo came back. It's a great time to be a fan, especially if you're watching this show.
That's right.
Shout out. So I wanted to talk real quick about our plans for the future. I know we talked a little bit. We were thinking about doing some live reactions to games, or just sitting there and like shooting the shit while the game's on. We could put that game on an overlay or something if we don't,
Right.
So we were thinking about stuff like that, maybe doing stuff at like the draft, doing an episode of that, like a live episode. So just anything live, I think we were talking about a little bit. So
Yeah.
we'll keep you guys posted, and we'll see you guys in the next one next week.
Stay
Finally.
frosty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.